Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm, of course, your host, Natty Teacher. Now, we got a special one on the docket today, folks. First of all, it's Friday. You gotta love that. On my way to the gym, 4 meals deep, about a gallon of fluids in. Pre-workout's been popped. Intra-workout is being actively consumed. Here, I'll prove it. Yeah. And we got over 500 subscribers. Now, okay, wait a second here. Whoa. I gotta be honest. I'm an honest guy, right? Can't lie, wouldn't lie. Just can't do it. I'm terrible at it. I'm so bad at it, okay? As you guys know, based on the name, the Natty Teacher, I am a junior and senior high school teacher. Teach middle schoolers and also high school students. And so, it had got brought up in one of my classes today about my students already knew about my channel, or at least most of them already knew about my channel, I would assume, and all that. You know, I talked about it earlier on in the year, and some of them even knew from this previous school year. But regardless, basically got brought up. I was like, I'm close. I'm close to 500. I was at 490 or something earlier this morning. And my students took it upon themselves to go to my channel and subscribe. So that is why I know we would have hit 500 eventually, because we were 10 subscribers off. So it would have happened probably in the next couple of days here. But regardless, they expedited that process and, took it upon themselves to get me. Now I think we're at 505 or something like that. So, hey, I appreciate it. If you are one of those students who has subscribed to my channel, even if you haven't, you're watching, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, we are officially over 500 subscribers. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. It's cool. We've had the channel now since the second week of May of this year, of 2024. So, it really hasn't been that long, man. It really has not been that long. It's been a pretty quick climb to go from 0 to then a little over 500 in about a 3.5 month span. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a little over, about almost a 4-month span. So that's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty sweet. I can't believe it. Again, I want to thank all of y'all for watching my videos and for subscribing. And we're just getting started. Like I said, we're just getting started. Now, I do want to add one thing, okay? And hopefully this isn't a disappointing thing for those of you who watch my videos on the daily. During the school year, my wife and I, we were kind of talking last night, and just how our schedules work, and just basically how, you got to remember putting these videos together and getting them uploaded, and with captions and all that, and doing voiceovers and all that. It's honestly a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of my time. It's not anything that I'm going to sit here and complain about. It's not a ton. It's pretty simple stuff, but it is time consuming. And I've noticed that it has started to kind of conflict with some of my time and the attention I could be giving to my wife and to our daughter and all that. So, with that being said, I will be uploading a little less frequently. Now, when I say less frequently, I still mean probably no less than 3 to 4 videos a week. So we still will have quite a bit. But most likely what I will be doing is hand selecting certain trainings. So maybe 1 week I'll post Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday content. You know what I mean? And I'll do my editing and upload and all that. And then the next week I'll do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday type thing. Well, it'll be relatively structured, but also relatively random. Some weeks it'll be 3 videos, some weeks it'll be 4, some it might be even more. But again, I just don't want to interfere with my time with my family. So hopefully you guys can appreciate and respect that. I absolutely will still be uploading multiple times per week. Just probably not 7 days a week. Again, I just want to make sure I'm, giving attention where it's needed most. So hopefully that doesn't sway you guys away from the channel. Hopefully you'll still tag along for this journey and go from there with me. So regardless, today, finally now, but I just wanted to get all that positive, awesome stuff out of the way. Again, I really appreciate it. Today we have our second leg day of the week. We got some hamstrings and glutes. Really trying to bring up, those were definitely 2 areas. Really my legs in general, what I really wanted to bring up, but out of the parts of my legs I wanted to bring up the most, hamstrings and glutes were at the top of that list for sure. So got some, I do have, I think, what, 1 or 2 newer exercises that we're going to be throwing in a little bit, just kind of rotating them in, giving them a whirl. One of them is just really a variation on one I already do, but it's going to be more unilateral. So you'll see what I mean when I get to it. I'll talk about it in the voiceover. But regardless, I'm excited. This is a fun workout for me. I really, really connect well with this workout, so I'm excited to get in there and get rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking, and go from there. So top set of, we'll have some adductors is where we'll be starting. So top set of adductors coming at you right about now. All right. As promised, we got some adductor on the docket. Now, what I did here is I don't want to say limited, but slightly limited the range of motion a little bit on the adductor. I felt like I was almost getting a little bit too much of a stretch on the upper portion of that hip flexor, especially on my left leg. I had noticed I kind of had a little bit of a nagging, pain, tightness up in there. So I really wanted to be a little leery of that. Did a ton of warm-ups here. Made sure we did quite a few warm-up sets to build up to our top set. And this still felt really good. So I like that we limited the range of motion just slightly, not a ton. We're still getting a good full range of motion, but just not quite as much of a stretch as we would normally do on this machine. So you'll see I did 10 straight reps where we brought the paddles together, and then we did 3 assisted reps as well. Drop the weight about 20%, right? Yeah, drop the weight about 20%, excuse me. And rep that out for, I think, like 19 reps and then 1 additional one. Then we have some lying hamstring curls here. So this is the full stack here, and moved pretty good. I will tell you that I really am kind of reevaluating this. I'm at the point right now with some of these leg workouts, especially, and just workouts in general, where my strength has been kind of creeping up. And I've noticed, and this is something you guys need to be leery of, is when you get stronger in a particular, where with a particular body part, or, just in general, when your body's getting stronger and stronger and you're growing, you have to be leery of that and make sure you're recovering for your next session. So I will say that my legs were still pretty toasted from my quad session on Tuesday. So I need to be leery of that. So we're going to really focus these next couple weeks. You'll see some big changes as far as exercise, not selection, but order, and also tempo within the movements themselves to kind of really, really help get the most out of the exercise and also get the most out of our recovery as well here. So 2 working sets here, top set here, drop the weight 20%, rep that out. Or actually drop the weight 10% and rep that out. Then some barbell stiff-legged deadlifts here. You could call this an RDL, but if you watch my actual, the angle of the legs, I have kind of deduced that this is definitely more of a stiff-legged deadlift. Make sure you pause at the bottom, sit in that hole in that stretch position for a moment at the bottom right here, and then come back up. Don't double bounce, so don't bring the weight down or bounce off the floor or whatever. Again, not the worst thing ever, but not the best either. Now, it's not really the best angle for you guys to see. I got to angle this camera up just ever so slightly next time. This top set, I noticed I had rounded the back just a little bit too much, especially on these last couple ones, because we did a top set of 3 plates here for 8, which felt really good, felt really strong, but I had rounded the back just a little bit. So in my next set, I dropped down to 2 plates and a quarter, did that for a set of 12, which is awesome. And it felt awesome. I was really leery of keeping that, chin forward a little bit more and having that chest held just a little bit higher. So 2 working sets there, felt great. Then, arguably the hardest glute exercise I have ever done. Some Smith machine hip thrusts here, single leg Smith machine hip thrusts, okay? You can see here that even my range of motion ain't enough. I dropped the weight down to a plate after this, and that felt much, much better, much more controlled. I'm doing a plate and a quarter here. Again, not bad, but definitely could be better. This is one of the hardest movements I ever did for my glutes. So I am going to train the crap out of this and perfect it and get really good at it. So we did a top set here. We did 12 reps per leg with a plate and a quarter. It was too heavy. Should have gone down to like a plate and a 10 or even just a plate. And then dropped down to a plate for our second set and did a set of 15. So that felt good. But man, I'll tell you, this was going from doing like 5 plates for sets of 12 and then going onto a plate and a quarter, and I mean barely squeezing out a set of 12. It was unbelievably difficult. Give it a whirl though. 2 working sets here. Then an exercise I haven't done in a while, and I did tweak it a little bit, and I'll kind of run through the cues here. we have some glute hyperextensions. So what we're doing here is, you'll notice if you look really closely to where the actual like pad is, where it's driving into like my quads, it is lower than I used to have it. I used to have it up to my waist, which made this very much so a lower back biased exercise. And I ended up dropping this exercise because I didn't feel like I was getting enough out of it. Well, I picked up a few cues from some YouTube videos online, some tutorials, and what I could do to get the most out of this. And here's what you're going to want to do. Set up that actual pad that would be close to your waist. Set it up so where it's driving into the top part of your quads, so not completely up to your waist, maybe 1 or 2 notches below that. For me, it was like 2 notches below it, okay? And then flex your quads. Keep your legs as comfortably straight as possible. Slight bend is okay, but make sure you're driving your feet into that pad and flexing your quads into it. I literally had my legs shaking because of how much my quads were still, recovering from my earlier session this week. But I'm literally flexing my quads here and then trying to keep my spine as neutral as possible and literally pull myself up with my glutes and squeeze the crap out of them. The tension was awesome. 2 working sets here within that 10 to 15 rep range. So I think we did a set of 15 and then a set of 12. But then some single leg hamstring curls. We're gonna slow this bad boy down next time. This is a little too fast, not bad, but just a little too fast here. We did go up in weight a little bit though from last week. Again, I like to keep this in that 10 to 15 rep range per leg. Don't need super long breaks in between, but at this point, my hamstrings were absolutely fried. It was one of those things where I was gassed at this point in my workout. I just remember it being kind of towards the end of my workout and just being like, I have very little in the tank. So it made me do some reevaluation, which from time to time you got to do. And I'm proud of myself that I'm able to do that and reflect and, really try to take my ego out more and more. But a little piece of life advice here, definitely do the same. It's one thing to put your head down and grind, which a lot of this workout was, but at the same time, you really got to make sure that you can get the most out of your recovery. Then to end this actual portion of it, of this leg B workout, we did 2 working sets of abductor work, great for the outer portion of the glute, and that tie-in between the outer portion of the thigh and the outer portion of the glute felt really good. Again, I like to keep this roughly in that 10 to 15 rep range, really focus on that portion right there, get that nice squeeze, and then allow the weight to be controlled when you're bringing your knees closer together. Don't just slam it together. Really try to get as much of a good range of motion as you possibly can, controlling both parts of the movement and getting a good squeeze when you pull or push those knees away from each other. So felt good. Still was a really good workout, but definitely one of those I had to push very hard mentally to get what I wanted out of it. But still really good workout. We did do 3 working sets of some machine crunches after this as well. Had already trained calves 3 times this week, so I did not have to throw in an additional day of calves here. Leg B session in the books. It was a learning experience, like a lot of training is and forever will be. That was a great workout, no doubt about it. So I want to preface it with that. It was a great workout. But again, I did have a couple takeaways from it, and here's what I deduced. Okay, I am at that point right now where I'm using pretty heavy loads on both my Tuesday and now my Friday workouts, which I have been for a while, but they've been progressively increasing, and I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm not fully recovering from my Tuesday quad session, and then going in and blasting my legs on Friday, and my legs, dude, I'm just like freaking fried. You know what I mean? Like I am fried at that point. So today was one of those workouts where I was just like, it was just like foot on the gas. You know what I mean? Like we're going, just go. You know what I mean? Like form, it probably wasn't as tight as it usually is. We're getting weight on there and we're freaking going. Okay, now don't get me wrong. There were definitely some exercises today that felt phenomenal, like my stiff-legged deadlifts. Dude, I did round my back a little too much when I was using my top set of 3 plates, and we'll work on that. But I really made sure I kept conscious of that for my back offset, and literally did 2 1/4 plates for 12. It was awesome. It felt great. It felt awesome. I felt every single one of those reps exactly how I would have wanted to feel it. You know what I mean? Or at least for the most part. So it was great. It was awesome. So, strength is definitely increasing on a lot of these bigger lifts, and that was awesome. But at the same time, man, I got to admit, I'm getting to that point where I am just, my recovery isn't terrible, but it's not the best that it could be, put it that way. Definitely needs more. So we're going to do a little reevaluation. We're going to, change some things up, especially in this second session, and, really see what we can do to you know, really see what we can do to make sure that we're coming into this Friday session feeling fresh and feeling good. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, still great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, phenomenal workout, but definitely need to do a little reevaluating. I will tell you guys this too. Those, and I think I will probably mention it in my voiceover as well, knowing me, because I haven't filmed that part of it yet or haven't recorded that yet. Those single leg hip thrusts, I am not kidding. They were the toughest. That was probably the toughest glute exercise I have ever done in my entire life. Probably the toughest glute exercise I've ever done. I could not believe how tough that was. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable how tough that freaking exercise was. But that is definitely, it's motivating for me because it makes me want to progress it more and more. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. So it's a plus. It's a great thing. But wow. It was unbelievably challenging. Give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. Slow down your tempo a little more than I did, though. I was kind of still trying to like figure the movement out a little bit. I probably should have just worked with like a plate, because I did a top set with a plate and a quarter and ended up doing that for 12. And they were not the worst reps of all time, but definitely needed to be cleaned up. And then I dropped down to a plate and did that for 15, and that felt a lot better, and the pace was a lot better, range of motion was a lot better, so that was good. Like, so now next week when I work with that again, maybe my top set will be a plate and a 10, you know what I mean? And we'll work with that and really squeeze the crap out of the glutes, because you can get a ton of isolation in the glutes with that. It felt really good. It was really hard, but it was really good. So we'll definitely continue to work with that. But anywho's, I just pulled in, so I'm gonna go in and get something to eat. Guys, again, thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I know a lot of it was my students kind of getting that last little push, so thank you guys. I really do appreciate it as this channel continues to grow. It's awesome to see that milestone hit. That's really cool. Super exciting stuff. So I'm excited for these next milestones. Next one, the next big one's 1,000. That's going to be nuts. Can't even, you know, I can't even, you know, I know that there's so many YouTube channels out there that are in, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions or whatever, but dude, 1,000, I couldn't picture 500 when I first started this channel. I'm like, no way. But, you know, freaking 500 already in, you know, under 4 months. We'll see where we're at after a year and a couple of years and all that. So, again, keep an eye out. Uploads will be a little less consistent every other day, maybe every 2 days or so at the most. But my wife's honking at me. She wants me to pull out of the garage so she can pull in. Jeez. She wants a good spot. She wants a good spot because we got a cabinet in my normal spot. So, I don't know how we're going to do this, but, all right, hold on. I'm trying to do a couple things at once here. Regardless, make sure that you like and, share this video, you know, comment honk for a 10% off code of a product that doesn't exist yet. Just kidding. Yeah, anyways, subscribe. Again, we're at 500. It's so awesome. So thank you guys again for that. But for today, I am the Natty teacher. It's the weekend. I am going to get as much relaxing in over the next couple days as I can. Just take my foot off the gas, sleep, maybe even take a couple naps here and there, rest, refuel, and go from there. So again, I'm the Natty teacher. Guys, God bless. I will catch y'all on the next one, whenever that may be. Another day or two. So, peace. This episode of Road to Natty Pro is out. See ya. See ya. One more.